Hi guys, PJ here. Today I'm working on a 2019 Citroen C3 and we're going to be putting a dash camera into this vehicle so that it goes on and off with the ignition system of the vehicle. Before following this video guide, I just need to point out that I'm held no way liable or responsible for any damage to your vehicle or injury to yourself. Useful tools to have while doing this sort of work are a multimeter to test your fuses, or a test probe screwdriver, one of those with a little light in the end of it so it illuminates when you touch the end of a fuse, a couple of cable ties, electrical tape, some long nose pliers to reach the fuses because they're quite recessed on this vehicle, and probably the most important thing, plastic leverage tool. This is to lever bits of plastic trim without damaging it. If you use a screwdriver you will make little dint marks in it so it'll look a right mess. You don't want to do that. These are about £1 off eBay, Amazon, that type of place. Very useful to have. Obviously any plastic scraper will do. Something quite firm so you can pop plastic clips off with it. The cable ties, although optional, are used for basically beefing up the cable, like so. So in other words, you widen your cable up a bit, so where it sits in the headlining above the window screen, it's just to give it something to stop it falling down when you hit a pothole. You don't want it drooping down in the middle of your window screen while you're driving along. What I'd normally do when you put your cable ties on, wrap some electrical tape over them, because when you've snipped them off they can be quite sharp. You don't want it rubbing the inside of your headlining. Your headlining is made of like a cardboard fibre substance, so I suppose over time it could rub and make a mess from the inside. So just pad it out with a bit of electrical tape. Right, so you've got your power cable. Now there's two ways you can do it. Obviously you can use the power cable that comes with your camera, so it plugs into the scrap lights type socket, or if you're hardwiring it, you've probably bought a hardwire kit. A hardwire kit contains a replacement power cable, and on the end of it will have a bare black wire that you earth to a chassis bolt. We'll be earthing this to one of the dashboard mounting bolts on the passenger side of the vehicle. I'll show you how to do that shortly. And also a power cable, like so, red power cable. Now this one's actually been in a car before, okay, so this camera, this kit has been in a previous vehicle, obviously being lease companies that run these. This is on now going in another car, so they've obviously moved on, as it were. And on the end of this we have a fuse spur. Now fuse spurs are basically a doubling socket for fuses in the fuse box. As you can see, you have a 2 or a 3 amp here to run the camera, and then the inside one here is the fuse removed from the fuse box, which you plug in here to run the original car's circuit, and then you plug the whole thing into the fuse box. So there's no soldering needed, no wires snipped, nothing like that. It's a nice and easy plug and play. So on this particular Citroen of this year, because like I say this is a new one, this is 2019, your fuse box is located in the glove box, and it's basically a tab. It's like a lot of the Citroens. New ones can be quite stiff. There we go. And it's buried behind this massive spaghetti. The design on a lot of Citroens leaves a lot to be desired. You literally can't get to them, hence I use long nose pliers. So what we'll do, we'll get some light on that, get some torch in there, and we're also going to be pulling the end panel off so we can do the earth, so a bit of light shining through from there. First things first, what we're going to do though is tuck our power cable up along the headlining near the mirror, so it sits just nicely, so you're only going to have like a couple of inches wire showing. Quick note on your headlining, when you're pulling it down, be careful with it. Don't go at it like a bull in a china shop. It is, like I say, made of a fibre substance, so you don't want to be pulling hard at it. Just carefully pull it down a little bit, tuck your power cable up all the way along until you get to the corner here, and then behind here there's an airbag. We're going to go behind the airbag. You can easily put your fingers behind the airbag, just sort of push it forward a little bit, pop your power cable down, and then down the rubber seal at the side. We're removing the side panel here, you just pop it forwards. They're on like little clips, there we go. And that gives you ample room to get down. And like I say, your airbag's just here. You can put your finger right behind it, like so, and pop your cable through, and then run it down the rubber seal. Next up, we're going to be removing this side panel. These are normally on very, very tight, so you've got to be careful with these. Just pop underneath, work your way all the way around it. There you go. These clips on the edge here are phenomenally tight. You've got to be careful you do not snap any. But anyway, we're removing that to get to this bolt. this bolt here or this bolt, either of which, if you undo those, they're 13mm, we're going to use those as an earthing point for the black wire on the kit. So we're going to put a ring terminal on the end and go underneath that bolt. So with the bolt out, our ring terminal on, we'll put a washer behind it just so that it sits nice and neatly when we screw it back into the mounting socket that we've just removed it from. Now, just to point out, there's two black cables coming off of this ring terminal because I'm also installing a rear camera into this, so I need two earths. But for your front camera, don't worry, you'll only have one black cable coming out of there. We're going to now put this back into the socket. Quite a tight fit. Screw that in, get the ratchet on it and tighten it up. Earthing now complete. What we're going to do is feed the power cable through the side here so that it comes out to the fuse box area, and we're going to test our fuses with the ignition off. Yeah, what you're going to do is pop your test probe onto the top, top of the fuses. So on this particular Citroen, there's 5 3-amp fuses in a row. I have got a torch on this, but it's really dark still. I do apologise for that. So there's a blue 15-amp just there, and 3 5-amps all in a row. We're going to pop the test probe onto the top of it and make sure we're still reading 0. Yes, we are, 0 volts. When we turn the ignition on, this particular fuse goes live, and then you will see 12 volts at your multimeter. Now, I've done a lot of these, so I do know which fuses to use. If I can just move that out of the way. On a UK car, you have basically 2 blue 3-amps and then 3 5-amp brown fuses. All 3 of the brown ones are ignition switched live auxiliary circuits. I usually use the one on the far right near the blue 3-amp. So I would go for this one here. On the UK spec car. Bear in mind, depending where the car's sold, what country, what spec it is, your fuse box layout may be different. So you are going to use the method I've just shown you to test that the fuse does go on and off with the ignition. Now, you don't want to use anything to do with airbags, ECU, ABS or anything like that. It's got to be an accessory fuse. So something like, heater controls or electric mirrors, that type of thing. Like I say, I'll be using this particular fuse. I'll pull that one out now and pop it in my fuse spur. There it is, there's the 5-amp popped in the fuse spur. You can now put the fuse spur in the hole where you pulled the 5-amp from. Like so. The only thing is, to change a fuse on one of these cars, you need to be double jointed or an absolute magician. Like I say, really stupid design fuse box, but there we go. Pop your fuse spur in, you see the power cable there, shoots off to the left and comes out here. There we go. So at this point, you can now go ahead and test your camera works. So with our camera mounted neatly, wire just tucked behind and up, we're now going to power on and make sure it works. And there we go. Yes, it does. Just wait for the little screen. On it comes. Bearing in mind there's a delay on the ignition of these Citroens, so when you turn off it takes sort of 30 seconds or so for it to power off properly, for the fuse box to shut down. But that's it. You can now go ahead and tidy up. So if you collect all your cables together, pop them into here out of the way neatly, and then clip your end trim back on. It's just a case of tapping it to making it go back on. I'm actually going to proceed now and put a rear camera into this. Unfortunately, I can't video that for you because I haven't got enough time left on this job to be able to do that. But guys, that is how you fit a camera into a Citroen C3 2019. I hope this video is of some help. If it is, please give me a like in the bottom there, and if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer your questions as quickly as possible, but just bear in mind there's millions of you guys, only one of me, so it might take a while for me to get back to you. Thanks a lot, goodbye for now.